Now, I can ask you, what exactly is high emotion? Like, what is an example of that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You know, Probably the thing that comes to mind most easily is being angry, right? Most of us, when we're angry, it's really hard to be super controlled. But imagine that even emotions that a lot of people can kind of manage more easily would trip you up. So what if, look, when you were happy, you kind of did things like gambled or drove recklessly? Or what if when you were feeling frightened, you tended to overeat or do things where you're sort of not doing what you want to do? So there are people who sort of say that in a lot of their day-to-day life, whatever the kind of high intensity emotion is, it just gets hard for them to regulate how they respond to it. And to be fair, emotions are a challenge for all of us, but they're more of a challenge for some people.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Now, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, I think since post pandemic, post COVID, there have been more conversations about mental health, at least, outside of the classroom and outside of the professional world. Now, have you seen a change, in terms of your students and, interacting with people and, trying to get them to understand this information?
I think there have been huge changes, and some of it for the good. I think we're finally having the conversations, and we're finally kind of reaching this tipping point where a lot of people feel comfortable about talking about what they're going through. So I used to say when I started my class, when I was teaching clinical psychology to hundreds of undergraduates, I'd say, has anyone here had exposure to this concern? And a couple of people would like kind of meekly put their hand up. Now, the start of the class, everybody, you can assume, knows somebody, and they're well aware of kind of the people in their life who've often had these struggles. And many, many more people are coming forward and saying, yeah, I have this. Does anyone in the class want to understand what it's like from my lens? So that's been really terrific. What's less terrific is that young people are really struggling with mental health problems, and they're struggling more than we ever saw before. We're seeing increases in rates of suicidality. Um, there's a lot of desperation and unhappiness and mental health symptoms out there, and everybody's kind of trying to figure out what causes that kind of increase and why we're in the middle of that. So I'd say there's some changes going on that are great and some changes that are going on that are really troubling.